Peace and blessings, everyone. The Ripper here. Today's topic is go to God for wisdom. What inspired me to want to speak on this topic is, one, me looking at the conditions of society, me looking at the conditions of the world, and my interpersonal relationships, dealing with people in business, dealing with friends, dealing with family. We understand that oftentimes God's wisdom is what we seek. Even if we consciously don't understand that it's God's wisdom that we seek, ultimately that's what it is. The world is in front of us and it gives us options, it gives us knowledge, it gives us opportunity. But if we don't have discernment, and if we're not aware of the world and the conditions of the world and the upbringing of the world and the causes and effects of the world, and you won't see God's hand and you won't see Satan's hand. And a lot of times we fall for the tricks of this wicked world without even realizing that it's a trick, or without even realizing, because it's so normal. Pride is normal. Vanity is normal. Ego is normal. Anger is normal. These different emotions that we experience and we feel expressing them is normal. But if you don't master the natural feelings that God gives us as human beings, if you don't master the flesh, you don't master your thoughts, master your speech, master your actions, then God can never reveal itself. That power that God represents can never be revealed unto us until we are made aware of the energy that we put out. We constantly plant seeds every day, whether we understand the seeds or not. The seeds are being planted, and God wants for us what we should want for ourselves. But in order for God to come to us, in order for God to grant us the bounty that we seek and grant us the blessings and mercy and salvation that we seek, we have to do the work first. And when you see others deprived of knowledge, when you see others deprived of their human need for salvation, freedom, justice, then we have to be the voice, and we have to fight for those people who are deprived and may not be strong enough to fight for themselves. So the anointed of God, this is the work for us. Those of us who consider ourselves servants or anointed of God, this work, this mission in the world is for us. And it takes mental toughness. It takes mental strength. It takes humility. It takes discipline. It's not for people who seek vanity, because it's weakness in vanity. And if you're mentally weak, this work is not for you. This work is for those who know that God is the true power and strength. And that's the source of where we pull and get our knowledge and strength and wisdom. So it's God's wisdom that we ultimately seek. And then we use that wisdom as a weapon, or as a tool, or as power to go out here and destroy wickedness and raise up God's people. That is what the people need. That is what is missing in this society, is the wisdom of God, and it's not being properly introduced to the people. It's being misrepresented every step of the way. So we can look at our own actions and our own energy. We can start there with your own behavior, your own lifestyle, your own way of thinking, your own speech. What is in that connection? How does that relate to God and God's presence in your life? If God is not present in your life, and God is not protecting you, God is not healing you, God is not evolving you, then we have to take a step back and reflect our own lives and our way of thinking and our behavior in order for that to happen. Because a lot of times we're our own worst enemy, because we're seeking vanity, we're seeking pleasure, we're not seeking sacrifice, we're not seeking the way to God, which is through sacrifice and long suffering. Not that anyone wants to suffer, but in order for God to be revealed, you have to be willing to suffer. You have to be willing to accept sacrifice. And we can't tell lies. Lying is our number one enemy, because when you tell lies, you are a true disbeliever in God, because to know the truth and to hide the truth is a true violation with God. So the first thing, if we want our prayers answered and we want to evolve and connect to that true power and that salvation, we got to stop telling lies. And lying is so normal in this society. It's almost like breathing. People tell lies just as easily as they breathe. So you don't know God if you tell lies. So we have to stop lying. We have to stop manipulating. We have to stop evil intentions, because then your mental health or your mental fall is due to lies and deceit and tricks and not living in truth. And every individual human being has power over their own tongue. So only you can stop lying. You can ask God for the strength to stop lying. You can ask God for mercy and grace to stop lying, but only you can stop that truly. And you have to understand that you're putting out the wrong energy. You're planting the wrong seeds. When you lie, when you manipulate, when you steal, when you do these acts, thinking you're gaining something, you're not gaining anything. You're planting seeds, and you're going to reap those. What you sow, you're going to reap that, and it's going to come back tenfold. So it's unwise to do evil acts when it's coming back to you tenfold. So it would be intelligent to do righteous, positive acts and reap that in return. So we have to mature spiritually. We have to evolve spiritually. We got to allow God to guide us. We need God's wisdom. And those of us who God has anointed, it is our job to go out and do the work and to give strength to those who may not have strength to do it themselves. So I take pleasure and I'm pleased to speak to God's people, because this is the message and this is the time that God needs for us to stand up and speak out and realize that every individual human being has their own battle. You have to fight that. You can't point fingers and blame it on anyone else. God can remove traumatic experiences. God can remove stress. God can heal depression. So God can heal anything. So we have to connect to that source in order to be healed and be reformed. And it just takes a word from someone to ignite that within a human being, and then they start to do the work from there, like a snowball effect. You start it, and then they continue to work. But with God's help, every human being can be healed. So we'll continue to do the work, and the anointed will continue to be blessed by God and be the ultimate example of salvation. The wicked will never be that. The wicked are under constant trial, under constant chastisement, under constant misery and grief. So we have to be our own best friends and not our own worst enemy. And then your relationships with other people will be better, will become better. Just with you having a better relationship with God and yourself, your relationships with others will improve. So thank you, YouTube. It's always an honor and a pleasure to speak. And this message is for all of us, not just for you all, for myself included. I'm just a vessel for God to speak, and I use this power for myself to go out and do God's work. So let's continue to work, and let's continue to build. Let's continue to stay humble. Let's continue to be examples of righteousness and truth, and stop telling lies and manipulating and upholding falsehood. That's the first thing that has to go. So God bless you. Stay tuned. Peace and blessings.